Big ideas, real talk. I'm Sarah Press, and this is Nothing Small About Business. Hello. Thanks so much for tuning in today. We have been going strong, guys, for 34 weeks. If you've been here from the beginning, thank you so much. If this is the first time you're tuning in, welcome. I'm so excited that you're here. We've got lots of good episodes. We've got a great person on today that I can't wait to tell you about. But 34 weeks in, you guys, this is getting crazy. And we're starting to get so many people that are applying to be on the show, hearing about the show, asking about the show. And what's kind of funny is that I don't really have the best systems in place for the volume now coming in of guests. So I did start a Google Doc, but it's hard to stay organized and it's hard to go through all the guest submissions. So if anyone out there has ideas on how to get a little bit more organized with this is new for me. So I am open to hearing all of your tips and advice because I understand that systems are in business an absolute must. And that's kind of an area that I struggle with a little bit. So keep your ideas coming. That being said, we are just coming off of July 4th, and it really had me thinking about like the American dream, how that's potentially changed over the last 250 years with all the new technology that we have. And I'm wondering now, like, what does it even mean to be living the American dream? And what's funny is I did an Instagram post about the American dream and thanking everybody that came before us to give us this opportunity. And it started getting just recently some crazy comments on there. And I guess, when you post on the internet, you're kind of opening yourself up to all that. But that being said, when people are commenting on Instagram, my only thought is like, you are welcome to have your opinion. Absolutely. Like get those feelings out there. But if you're not actually doing anything about it, or in like a positive way, if you're not volunteering or creating an organization that can help people, if you're literally just complaining about something, then you're wasting all of your energy. So take that energy, all those feelings you have bottled up, and put it into something that is actually going to move the needle in such a positive direction for people. That's just my 2 cents. Speaking of the American dream, though, and how things are kind of changing with technology, today's guest fits so perfectly with this. Today I have Bryan. He's from the Heights platform, and he's created a system that will allow people to have a central platform that can do like courses, memberships, communities, things like that, because there are so many ways. It's like the bajillion-dollar industry now where people are creating things online, and that is their entire career, and they're making a lot of money doing it. So being able to work remote, that sounds pretty cool. Educating people sounds pretty cool. We even joke how there's like courses on how to create courses, and that's like not what you should maybe be doing. Maybe look a little bit into more of what your expertise is when creating these things. But we go through, Bryan opens up about what some of the most successful people are doing, the tips that he has. So if you guys have ever considered maybe having a digital course or a download or a community that you want to build, this is definitely an episode that you're going to want to save. Share with a friend if you know that somebody else that might be wanting to do something similar. So enjoy this episode, guys. This is Bryan from Heights Platform. All right, Bryan McAnulty, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks so much for having me on, Sarah.
So you have a specialty area that we haven't really gone deep on this podcast yet. So I'm really excited for people to understand kind of this whole world of how creators can monetize their knowledge and their expertise. So can you first talk to me about what this whole world is and what those different modalities are that people can utilize?
Yeah, sure. So I'm the founder of Heights Platform, and we are this online course creation community building software. We've now helped more than 10,000 creators build these kind of online knowledge businesses. And one of the things that I think is so cool about it is that it's not just like one thing, that it has to be an online course, or it has to be digital downloads, or it has to be coaching. It's a very flexible business model, even like once you're in it, that you can decide, you know what, actually, the way I want to deliver this, or the way that it works best for my members or my students, or however, can really change and evolve over time, versus like the kind of business where it's like you're building like a physical product, and forget about like completely changing the business, but even making a small tweak to it can be a lot more resource intensive, or almost impossible.
And very costly.
Yes. So with this kind of like creator business, if you have something that you're skilled at and you're passionate about, that you want to share with the world, that you believe you can help people kind of achieve some kind of outcome in their life that they care about through that, then you can sell that either as an online course, a challenge, a like group live calls, community membership, downloads, or like any combination of those things. And so with Heights platform, we let you build all of those things. We let you build the entire website, the ability to sell it and have the checkout, and the place where all your members go and interact with all that.
Got it. Okay. So do you find that most people are already like creators in this space, or is it kind of like anybody? So like it could be somebody that just has an expertise in something that's like, you know what, let me try out this space. Because my first thought is like, oh, these are influencers and creators, but they're really not. They're really people that understand their craft at such a deeper level that they've now become
Yes.
the teachers, correct?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, so it really it can be like anything, and it's good you brought this up because first of all, I see in like the entrepreneurial kind of like digital marketing space, there's this like both like the grass is always greener kind of approach, and also everybody thinks like, oh, online course, that means that somebody's going to sell me a course about how to make a course or something like that. There's all it's all marketing stuff, right?
Yes.
And I think like we see a lot of this like as entrepreneurs because that's like we are entrepreneurs, and so the ads target us the right way,
Our
right?
algorithm is like,
Uh,
it knows us so
Yes,
well, right?
but the reality is that there are people, creators building under like any niche that you can imagine, and it's not even. I wouldn't even say it's like a popular niche of like the course about selling a course type thing. Like it's such a wide range of what creators are building about, and I would encourage somebody like if you have expertise in something you care about, like don't go following whatever somebody says is the thing you have to do to make money because I can point to like creators in almost any niche that they've been able to build a full-time business doing this. And it's like a niche that you would have maybe never even heard of or never would have
You're
expected
like,
that
that
like, wow,
exists? Like,
yeah,
who are these people?
exactly. That and the second part is that even just a couple of days ago, my newest teammate was telling me how one of the things that he was most surprised by when he joined our company was that he thought that it was going to be, I guess, more so like the TikTok creators or what some people would imagine,
Hmm.
and or like somebody who's just saying like, "Hey, I want to like make money online somehow. I have no idea what I'm doing." But
Yeah.
what he found was that it really is like our, at least our audience and our customers are these people who have this really deep expertise and skill in something that they want to somehow share with the world.
Got it. Okay. You touched on something that I'm really curious about. And you're talking about how people have these different like niche areas. Is that the best route to go? Is like narrow down, like how narrow do you think people need to go with their expertise as opposed to like, oh, I'm a generalist, I'm a broad, I do X, Y, and Z marketing, let's call it, versus like I market specifically for optometrists. Like how niche do you think people need to go when they're doing their content?
Yeah, that's a good question too, because I think that some people, maybe some people have heard like, oh, you have to pick a niche, but yeah, I think it would be a mistake to say like, oh, I'm going to make the perfect it's the course for everybody or something.
Right.
It should be in some kind of niche, and like to give you an example of one that I'd like to keep going back to, uh, is a creator on our platform that teaches about the hammered dulcimer and music theory around that. And
I don't
I'm a
even know what that
musician.
means.
Yeah, so I'm a musician. If you're watching this, like I have guitars and stuff behind me.
Yeah.
I did not know what the hammered dulcimer even was. And they've built a six-figure business now building this course around this. And
No
I
way.
think like the average person who's thinking like, oh, how do I have anything that I can do that I can earn a living online would not consider like the skills that they have to be something. So you can definitely be within a niche, and um, the niche is better because I know people also get concerned about like, oh, well, I have a competitor who's doing this or doing that. But of all the spaces in the internet, first of all, in business in general, like having competition is a good thing. That means that there is a market. But in all the kind of the business models that exist, I think like the online course and info product and these knowledge businesses is one where you don't have to worry about your competition at all, even because what you're actually selling is you're bringing people to some specific outcome that you're helping them reach. And the reason that they're buying it from you, because people worry about like, what am I going to do in this age of AI if somebody can ask ChatGPT to teach them the
Yeah.
thing? The reason that people are buying from you is because your specific, unique knowledge and experience. And even if you have a competitor who's really experienced and teaching something around the same subject, It's literally a different product because they're not you. Nobody
They're
can
not
be
the
you.
secret sauce is you. Yeah.
Exactly. And so you like by default have a unique thing to offer as compared to if you said, I want to start a drop shipping business on Amazon and I'm going to sell the same like $5 widget that everybody else is. Um, so yeah, it's a business model that I like and am passionate about because it's also one that like it can align with your passions and you can make a positive impact on the world and actually helping people achieve something.
Yeah, that's really cool. It's a win-win for everybody in that regard. So one thing you were saying that I find so funny is like when you're entering a space, you're like, why am I going to do this? There's a million people already doing it. But it's so true. It's like you're not going to invent something that nobody in this entire world with the billions of people don't do. So it's really about putting like your best product forward and putting your differentiators in there and letting people know why what you're doing might be a little bit different than what the other person's doing, knowing that there's going to be a whole gambit of people in this similar space unless you're in the music world with this very specific thing. He might have found the one area that he doesn't have as much competition. But what would you tell people that would be afraid of like, I missed this boat. This boat was probably really great to jump into 10 years ago, but now so many people are doing it. How would you respond to somebody if they had those fears around it?
I would say that in some cases, like you're right that there have been like these times of these really great opportunities where it's like, okay, now the online courses are all the hype, or now online challenges are all the hype. And what I would say though is where we're so fortunate is now we're just hitting another one of those opportunities, which is that now we have AI to help us build things. And so the individual creator can now build more than ever before thanks to AI. And so for me, I think this is like the most exciting time to be a creator.
Yeah. And like the barrier to entry is easier, which means more people are going to do it, but that doesn't mean everybody is going to stick with it and produce, at the highest level. So, talking about AI, I would love to jump down this whole rabbit hole of how you've implemented AI for the creator experience when they're building all of these different modalities to sell their expertise through.
Yeah. So I use AI all day, and I've been building these AI tools. We released the initial version of Heights AI back in like March of 2023, and so like we were early with it in a way. But I will be the first to tell you, like we are not encouraging anyone here to go make some like AI slop or
Yeah.
generate the course with ChatGPT. Nobody is going to buy that. The way that you should be using AI in your business is not to be like creating the content for you, but it's being able to like do other things where it can help you get that thing created faster. And so the example of like how that's implemented inside Heights platform is you have Heights AI chat and Heights AI coach. Heights AI chat you can think of as like your virtual assistant, and Heights AI coach is like your coach. Because when we're building this, we are thinking, okay, what are the probably first two people that the like creator solopreneur would hire? It may be like a virtual assistant and a coach.
Hmm.
And so the idea of what we're trying to provide here is that you wake up as a creator and you're trying to build this business and you have this thing that you're passionate about that you want to share with the world, but you probably don't wake up and say, I can't wait to learn this software today, right? And
I've
so
never once woken
um,
up and said that.
yeah, so I love building software, and even as somebody doing that, I know that the reason that you're using the software in the end is you're hoping to reach some kind of specific outcome. And so with Heights AI, you can not only ask it questions about like, well, how do I find this feature or something like that, but you can actually ask it to make edits to settings and things for you. So you could say, hey, can you set this course to published, or can you change the launch date on this course? And
Oh,
now
wow.
you don't have
That's
to
nice.
learn, yeah, so you don't have to learn the software anymore. And you don't have to hire like an assistant who's been using that kind of software. You can just ask the AI to do it for you. So that way you get to focus on actually creating. And then where we have it kind of be a implementation partner in that is that it's not creating the content for you, but you can go in and you upload your lesson text, you upload your video, and then Heights AI can actually watch that and then give you feedback and say like, well, here's some questions that students might ask. Here's some potential action items that you might want to include. And so if you are just starting out and you don't have the audience yet to get validation and understand like where they may have questions, it's not the best thing would be to ask it to real people, but the next best thing is to get that feedback from AI.
Yeah, I think with so many people being solopreneurs right now, it's it could be like a lonely world and you're like, "Oh, I have this idea in my head. I wish I could bounce it off against somebody that's not me." And so like one way been using Claude and chat is like I'll spew out a whole paragraph of my very discombobulated ideas
Mm.
and I'll be like, "Make this make sense in a very structured format." And it's like, "This is what you're trying to say, basically." And I'm like, "Thank you." Like, that's exactly what I'm trying to say. You just made it sound very polished. So when creating courses, can that be something that somebody utilizes with AI of like, help me put together a structure for a course? Like, there's probably so many cool tools that you can use where you're not sitting there creating every single slide, let's call it.
Yes. Yeah. So inside Heights directly, when you first open it up, we have a 30-day free trial. There's no credit card required. If you want to just try this for yourself real quick, you can without having to pay anything. But when you first open it up, it shows you this product generator, and you can put in what you're trying to create, and then like what kind of products you want. Like what is your offer of what you want to provide for people, and what kind of products you want in that. And what's neat about that is you don't have to understand like our terminology of whether it's an online course or a challenge or a digital product. You just write out, I want to have some kind of course. Maybe I want to have a VIP coaching call with it and some place for people to discuss. And then Heights AI is going to figure out, okay, well, that means you're going to need to create these kind of products, and we'll put them in a little offer for you, and we'll generate an outline for the kind of things that you might want to include in that. And so it gets you started on all the technical setup. That way, again, you can focus on the actual creation with things. But to the point of like that kind of process that you're using to like clarify things with AI, I think that's like a very helpful workflow in any AI tool. And I do a lot of the same thing myself, more so. And like my time now is spent less like building courses and more about building software, but it's the same idea. Like I will just talk to it, and I use a tool called Super Whisper. I recommend it to anybody because you can press a button on your keyboard and then just talk to your computer, and then you press the button again and it puts the text in whatever input. So you can kind of use like voice in any tool. And so, yeah, I don't type as much now. I just talk to the computer for a
You just
long
it's
time.
like your best friend. You're just having a
Yeah, yeah.
conversation.
I'm just trying to explain the thing that I want to do, and you don't have to be explaining it well. You can pause for a second and think like, oh wait, no, I kind of mean this, and you're just trying to get the ideas out of your head, and then you give it to the AI, and the AI is very good at like translating those things, transforming it into something that's more clear or something that does make sense,
Hmm.
and then you can take that, and that can help inform what's going to create a lesson, what's going to create some kind of piece of content online. In my case, what's going to create like the implementation plan for building some piece of software. Yeah.
So do you find that most of these creators, because we have all these AI tools, you're pretty much creating one central package or one central piece of content and knowledge, and then using that and just breaking it off into all these different options for people based on how they like to get their information? Like, or is it something where you're creating it and building on it and building on it? Or is it more of like a one and done? You create it once and then you sell that same thing over and over again? Or
As
is it a
far as
little
like
combo?
what the creator like should create or does create or
Yes, like, as far as what that like, if a creator's coming onto your platform, is it something where they're creating that product once and they're selling that over and over again? Or is it something where you're continuing to update and add things, add
yeah.
new courses?
So it could be set for some people. They stick with like a very like one singular core product or something like this. Some people have tons of different product ideas. I think probably like the most successful approach is somewhere in between. I think people would be making a mistake if they thought I'm going to come up with the perfect digital product or online course, and then it's going to be the thing I'm going to do forever in my business. Because the reality is, likely you're going to eventually come up with different products. Likely you're going to refine that, and it's going to turn into something different over time. And so I think the most successful people that you would talk to would all say like, oh well, this has changed a real lot over the years in what I've actually offered. And again, that's part of the beauty of this business model is it is so easy to like change and adapt that and realize like, oh, I don't like doing online courses, but I really like being able to interact with my members better. So I want this to be more of like a community membership, and maybe we'll do these like weekly group calls or something like that. And so, you have the ability to change all of that. But yeah, so I would say don't plan to only create one thing and think that's going to be it. Realize it is this ever growing and ever evolving process. But also like don't think that you have to have this marketplace of 100 products or something to be successful. You
Hmm.
probably should stick with like one core offer to start, whatever that thing is, and then evolve from there.
And do that really well and then build. And then as far as like people with communities, so when they're joining your platform, how important is it for them to already have a large community, or does that piece kind of come naturally as they build their product?
I think it's like a misconception that you have to be like famous on social media first to then build some kind of online business. And it's actually funny how big the disconnect is that like if both sides could meet in the middle, we would have everybody become a lot more successful. And what I mean by that is like you have the creator who has absolutely no audience, absolutely no email list at all. They're really good at building the products. They know exactly what they're trying to build, but they're trying to figure out how to grow that audience. And that can be okay. And there's a lot of things that I would recommend to be able to do that and start small where like you pre-sell the course and then find out if somebody wants to buy it and then validate the idea, get a couple people in there. If only a couple people buy it, that doesn't mean you have to shut it down. You can turn what was a course into maybe more of like a one-on-one coaching thing even, and then use that feedback and use those reviews to build on it from there. But then on the other side of the spectrum, you have like the super famous YouTuber or TikToker with millions and millions of views, and they don't have their own product, and they don't even
And they
know
make
how to.
$0,
Yeah,
but
they
they're
don't
really
even know how to
famous.
start creating their own product. And so, yeah,
Yeah.
there are instances where there's somebody with like almost no followers online or no like massive like famous social media presence that they're earning like a significant amount of money online in their business compared to the person with millions of views on TikTok that almost has nothing to show for it in terms of business. But yeah, if those people could meet in the middle and the person who knew how to build the product the right way and offer value to their audience, and then the person who knew how to get the attention of people online, then you'd have something that's really, really successful.
Right, you don't wanna be on the end of those spectrums. Somewhere
Yeah.
right in the middle is great for that. So what are some other things then, like, for the people that you've seen that have had the most success on your platform, are there certain patterns that you recognize with them or certain things that they do where you see that their offering is either scalable and they're monetizing quicker and building it faster? Or, like, what are those, like, little patterns that you see with, like, the most successful people that are using it?
I think it's that their consistency with things, and you could say like, oh, well, this is just that's just because the people who are successful, of course, they're going to be there longer. But I think the way to look at it is that the biggest issue that I've seen with course creators is not that you have like bad branding. It's not that you have bad product. It's not that your marketing is bad. Like any one of those things can be like absolutely horrible. Even two of those things can be absolutely horrible. As long as you have one of them down, then you can be successful. And like so I can point to an example of somebody with who's done any one of those things like atrociously, but has been successful. And so the real reason that people end up failing is that they don't launch and they give up way too early. Where if they could become comfortable enough with whatever they had to just move a little bit more forward with it, then I really believe they could be successful. The example of that is like so many entrepreneurs get hung up on thinking, I need the perfect logo, I need the perfect business cards, or
Yeah.
whatever it is before their business is even out there. And it's difficult, because you care about your image and you care about what you're trying to create, and so you want to represent that the right way. But the reality is, you have to get something out there and start getting that feedback because there's going to be other things that maybe you don't even realize like how bad that one thing is. But if you
Yeah.
get somebody to give you feedback about it,
You'll
then
know
that's
real
how you
quick.
yeah, that's how you find out and that's how you improve. And yeah, like we have it was interesting a couple months ago, and I want to be really clear that I hate all the make money online stuff where they're like promising to make you some kind of money. So like, I'm not promising anybody's going to
Right.
make any kind of income or
There's
anything
no guarantees
from
here.
anything of using our software here. But it was a outlier and an inspirational story for me to see that recently one of our creators hit over $1 million earned through Heights platform in their account, and they are still on
Wow.
like our basic plan where you can't have a custom domain or anything like that. And so many people like actually fail to get started because they say, I can't really afford the pro level plan where I can have the full custom domain and all that. And so, yeah, maybe I shouldn't launch my business yet. But like, yeah, on the other end of the spectrum, you have people who have been able to say like, well, that's not as important to me, or that's not going to stop me from launching. And then they're able to really grow from that.
Wow, what an incredible story. Be able to just do it and not even have like the top of the top tools yet. And like imagine like as she keeps expanding and building on these, like what what the limit will be there. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
and I mean, it's not even about like the plan or having a domain or not too. It's like I've seen examples where like somebody has not even changed like the default like color scheme in our software. Like one of the first things we say is like you can set your brand colors to whatever you want. Like they didn't even do any of
They
that,
didn't
but
even change
they still have,
it.
and it's because like they don't personally care much about branding. Maybe that's part of their personality. But their product is incredible and they have something that's really providing value to people, and so it's working for them.
It's funny. Yeah, people can get stuck in like analysis paralysis of like making sure everything is tweaked and perfect. And it's like, well, that's great, but if no one's seeing it, then no one cares. And a lot of times, like we can focus on the wrong areas. And then another thing you just touched on is like that time piece I want to talk about a little bit.
Mm.
We're in such a world of like instant gratification that it's like, if this isn't working within 3 months, it must not be working. I should stop or pivot. And what I'm noticing is that it really takes time to build something, whether that is a business, a podcast, whatever it is that you're doing, like you're not going to have that overnight success. It's like showing up every day for months and months and sometimes years. And I love when I see these creators that have these big launches and it seems like they did it overnight. But then when they tell their story, you're like, oh my God, they've been doing this for 5 years and not making anything doing it, but they kept at it. And it's like that timepiece kicks in.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And yeah, I think it's oversold that there's these ideas of this overnight success, and that if you want to really succeed in business, what you should find is like, what is the thing that you can wake up and do every day if you never needed money again, and if you can find some way to make enough money to continue doing that thing, then that's all you need, and you will eventually be able to win. Because unfortunately, a lot of people are going to give up, and so, yeah, so don't treat like whatever you accomplish in the short term may end up being less than you had hoped for or less than you had imagined, but in the long term, it's going to undoubtedly be more than you would have thought would even be possible.
Oh, I love that. That's very well said. So I want to switch gears a little bit. So that's like the one side of your business, but at the end of the day, you yourself are a business owner and there's a lot that goes into it on that end. So I would love to hear some things from you as far as like building this company. What are things that you do like on a daily basis? Do you have a morning routine? Do you have any sort of daily routines to keep yourself motivated and sharp and educated? Like what are some of the things that you do on a daily basis?
Sure. Yeah. So I do have a routine. And when I started in business, I did not. When I started in business, I thought being an entrepreneur means that I can do things at any time of the day. And so that means I'm going to get back to the client even late at night and show them like, look, I can do all this kind of thing. And I realized that that's not the right approach at all for a number of reasons. Not only because while I love everything that I'm doing in my business, I also love family and friends and a lot of other things in life that I want to be able to have time for. And so I found that having strict constraints on like where you spend your time and when you spend your time is important for me. And so, yeah, I do have a pretty in some ways pretty set schedule nowadays of interfacing with my team and things in the morning. We're a small team, but we're a bootstrap team, and we're spread around different countries and things like that. So I talk with them in the morning. I try to get some work done before I have to look at maybe things related to customers and things like that. Um, and but then what is nice is you can still tailor the schedule to what makes sense for, I guess, like your family and your goals and things like that. And so I will tend to sometimes take a break kind of in the middle of the afternoon and then go back to work a little bit after that. And then kind of around dinner, have family time and everything then. Um, but yeah, I found like having specific schedules is very helpful,
Mhm.
and blocking out
Strong
time.
boundaries around that.
Yes, and blocking out time for when you know you can work on the thing that is going to be able to move something forward for you. Because otherwise, as you grow, there's always a customer that needs help. There's always something
Yeah.
coming up, and so you need to be able to create and like carve out some time for yourself where you know you get time to work on whatever's going to move the needle.
Yeah, it's hard because when you're building a business, you want to do everything because you just want it to keep growing. There's a million things you can always be doing. And one thing that I had to learn was towards the end of the day, go through my head and say, looking back at my day, did I accomplish enough to be satisfied? And
Hmm.
if that's a yes, then I'm like, then shut off the work brain and just enjoy life now. Or if that's a no, then it's like, okay, what can I do to make me feel like today was a productive day? Because otherwise, it's like there's no end. You're like, okay, let me do the next thing on the to do list, or let me ignore this thing I need to be doing at home because I need to get back to this client right now because it's on my brain. And as it's really hard as a business owner to be able to shut the brain off at the end of the day and
Yeah,
switch into
yeah,
the other
definitely.
mode.
It's not like a thing that's easy to do. It takes practice and everything. But yeah, you have to remind yourself that yeah, if you like what does really the reality of 1 extra hour or half hour or 2 hours, whatever it is, what is that really going to change in your life or your business that you couldn't have somehow figured out a different way that you can then just turn off and enjoy your time doing something else there instead.
Right. And talking about those time blocks, like taking a break in the afternoon reminds me of an episode I did with Peter Moulton. And he talks about doing like working in sprints and
Mm.
then taking scheduled breaks because our brains can only handle so much. And we're going to be at our sharpest and most creative at certain times of the day. And it's so true. Like at 10 o'clock at night, if trying to tweak a website or do something, I'm like, my brain is fried. The work that I'm going to be putting out at 10 p.m. is very different than the work I'll put out at 8:30 in the morning. So I think that
Yeah.
piece is super important. And then as far as like building your business, where have you found the most success as far as like how you're marketing your business? I know you talk about your podcast as like a great place to do marketing or have guests that, can learn more about your products. What things have you noticed like the most success for as far as building your business?
Yeah, well, we just talked earlier. You were just on my podcast, so if anybody wants to check that out, it's called The Creator's Adventure. That's something I enjoy. That's one of the things I guess that I spend more of my direct time doing as far as like content. But we tried to do mostly like organic type things rather than like paid advertising and things like this. And I try to figure out, well, what is the thing that I would actually be able to enjoy and produce content around? And so for me personally, that's podcasting. And then I do a little bit of YouTube as well. I'm trying to do more YouTube because I think that's a platform that makes a lot of sense for small businesses since like you can, not only can you get attention there, and it's generally like longer form attention that people are spending more time with you than like a reel or a TikTok. But it's also something that, like, if you're successful enough, you'll even make some kind of money from YouTube as well, right? So if you're just starting
It's a
out,
good bonus.
it's almost a way that you can get paid for advertising yourself, um, especially if you tie in like affiliate things or other things you could do there.
Yeah, a
So
lot of opportunity there for sure.
yeah, so I like creating content in that way. Um, but it took me, I feel like longer than I would have wanted maybe to get better at creating this content because I never really wanted to do it. And it wasn't until I was able to realize for myself that while I don't really want to be on social media or have any specific presence there, the idea that I want to be able to serve and help more people like kind of outweighed the fact that I don't necessarily enjoy making that kind of content. And so
hmm
that became the reason of why I enjoy making this content, that I feel like I have to share this with more people and everything like that. And I think for others out there who are like apprehensive or not feeling like they want to be on social media, maybe you can find that for yourself as well.
How cool that just like a mindset shift. You're doing the same thing. It's just the way you're thinking about it. That's
Yes.
changing. That's awesome. All right. Well, we're running out of time, but I love to leave my listeners with like a tip or a trick. What is like one thing that you can tell people that would improve their lives or their business? Like one thing that they could do today.
I think something I've been thinking about in the last couple of weeks is that I think everybody should think bigger, especially now where AI can help you with so many things. um, I find that I have to constantly challenge myself of just thinking bigger because before it was like, oh, you have to hire these people to help you with this idea or all these kind of things. And the AI keeps getting better at the same time. And so like, I think your value a lot in business and a lot of what business is, because so like we built this AI agent coding tool that's been helping us now build our business. And so I'm using this a lot and thinking to myself, well, where does this all go from here? If
Mhm.
everybody has these like magical agents that are running all the time and doing things in our business, why is one business even different from another at all? And I think it all comes down to like business is just how you do things. And so the ideas that you have and all of that is what's really important. And so, yeah, challenge yourself to think bigger and come up with an idea that you would have thought would, well, that might be cool to do, but I never thought it was possible before because it might actually be more possible than you think.
Yeah. And then once you find something you love and then add in these AI tools we have, it's like, oh my God, you have no idea where you're going to end up in a month or two.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today, Brian. If people want to learn more about creating courses, memberships, using your platform, where should they find you?
Thanks, Sarah. Yeah, at heightsplatform.com, we have a free 30-day trial. And if you want, we have some free resources at heightsplatform.com/free. We have a free kind of like creator starter pack with these worksheets, checklists, and things like that. If you're interested in kind of figuring out, well, what would it mean for me if I was going to build some kind of coaching course or a community business?
Oh, interesting. I'm going to check that out. And I'll link all these in the show notes as well so people can find you. But thanks so much for coming on. I appreciate how open and honest you were about everything and sharing your expertise. I think is going to be really valuable for my listeners. So I really appreciate it.
Great. Thanks, Sarah.
Thanks for listening to Nothing Small About Business. Make sure you follow the show so you don't miss the value in upcoming episodes. Share this with someone who's growing and connect on socials for more.